Hi, this is the third installment of our new consultant training, and we are going to talk about working full circle tonight and a little bit about booking and how to book, how to get leads, a little bit about hostess plans. This will probably be another 30 minutes to 40-minute training. I have a lot of screen shares for you, and I try to put most of all of these things also on our Motions Bright Stars page. If you go to that private Facebook page, there is a button called Files, and if you click on that, most of these items are in that Files as well. But you can always reach out to me if you need me to email you any of them. So hopefully at this point, you're continuing to work through or already have worked through your MK Confident on Mary Kay in Touch, because that is the training from the company. And some of that is going to mirror what I'm teaching you. Some of it may be a little bit different, not different in the sense that they're going to do something different than I do, but just some different trainings than I do. And it doesn't hurt you to hear things more than once. So we're going to talk a little bit tonight, and I'm going to share this screen about working full circle. We call it full circle because this is the best way to work Mary Kay to get the best benefit out of your business so that you are selling product, but also recruiting. And we're going to talk a little bit about recruiting in a minute, because it is not a requirement to recruit, but there's reasons why you would want to do that as well. And that's why we're calling it working full circle. So if you start up here at the top, you're really going to start with a prospect list and lead generation. And it says to focus on 5 ways to generate leads. So in a minute, we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about that. But once you have your prospect list or your leads, then you're going to book. And that's where you're establishing a relationship, getting a date set for them to come try the product. That can be in person, or it could be on Zoom, depending on if that person lives in your town or not. And you can even do Zoom if they live in your town. My experience, honestly, and I'm a little bit old school in this, but my experience has been I always sell more if they are in person with me. But sometimes it just doesn't work, or you just need to have the option to do it. Some people even do stuff on Facebook Messenger because you can video with people on there as well, or you can do FaceTime on your phone. So once you have them booked, you're going to pre-profile. So we're going to talk about that, and that's asking them about what is their Mary Kay experience, about their skin, what they expect from you. You're going to coach them if they're going to be a hostess. So that means that they may be inviting friends. So you're going to grow your relationship, set an expectation for the meeting time so that you confirm it and you remind them and you follow up with them the day of, so that you don't worry about it not holding. Then product knowledge is partly by using the products yourself, which we talked a little bit last time about you being on as many Mary Kay products as you can, but also the more practice you have with faces, you just automatically are going to learn more about the products. And then this says flip chart mastery, introducing them to the product. So the company does have a flip chart, which I'll probably do a whole separate training just on how to do that, but this is what it currently looks like. And it has pictures in the front, and then on the back side, it kind of tells you what to say. So some people enjoy using the flip chart, some people don't. But the value of doing it at the beginning is that you don't have to remember what to say. And then you kind of learn the routine of how to go through an appointment with a person. And then you're going to want to practice and learn, like the opening of your presentation, sharing your Mary Kay story. We call it the I story, which is, why did you start selling Mary Kay? Why do you love what you're doing? Why do you love the products? Just the genuine story that you would share about that. Learning how to get referrals from that appointment, doing what we call the table close, and then an individual close with an individual separate from the table, if you've got more than one person in front of you. And then selling is closing the sale and then rebooking for a follow-up appointment. We try to book people for skincare first because you want them on a good skincare regimen. You can rebook them for like a color or makeup session, or even what we call spa, which we do. With that, we typically do skincare, but more products with skincare. And there's a couple of different things you can do with that. And there's other types of appointments you can do, but you want to try to rebook them and have them bring friends with them the next time. So then you might consider doing a sharing appointment with them. And there could be a couple of different ways to do that. And we'll talk separately about that probably next week, but it's often very common for you to have them meet with me and you, and we do kind of like just a little chat about the products and about the company and how we make our money. They could be invited to an event we have or to one of our meetings. There's a lot of different ways that you can share the product with them. And then you want to offer them really good customer service. So if they purchase from you, you want to follow up. And we have on here 2 + 2 + 2, because generally that means 2 days after they buy a product, 2 weeks after they buy the product, and 2 months after they buy the product, you're following up with them, because we do have a 100% guarantee. So you want to make sure they're happy with their products and make sure they don't need something different, or that everything's working for them, putting them on your preferred customer program, and giving them prompt delivery. And so I'm not a proponent that you have to deliver every day. It's very easy now to mail things. You can even use CDS a lot, which stands for Customer Delivery Service, where if you are currently active, then you could have the company even deliver that product to them. So there's lots of ways that you can provide good customer service. And then we want to continue with what we call the layering process, which I'm going to show you a sheet in a minute called the layering sheet. And the more you layer people, sometimes if they have any inkling or any desire to have their own business or make extra money, they are interested in becoming a recruit. So we want to share that opportunity with everyone. It is good for you to attend our weekly meetings. We currently do those on Zoom. Sometimes we have events that we do quarterly, and then there's a couple of company events. So the more that you saturate yourself within the Mary Kay world, the easier it is to learn and the further you'll go in this business. It is not required to attend events that are outside your city, but there is value in that. If you're making the money where you can afford to go and do that, it is helpful to you. And then there is paper accountability with your weekly accomplishment sheets and communication with whoever recruited you and me, your director. So this is kind of the whole full circle part of working Mary Kay. Let me talk a little bit about that layering sheet. Let me see if I can get that to pull up here. Okay, here is the layering sheet. Okay, so basically what you do is you write down every person's name that you facial. It can even be maybe someone you're selling to or you've talked to, and you're going to mark how many different layers have you given them. So do they love the product? Have they tried the product? Have you given them samples? Maybe they haven't tried the product in front of you, but you've given them samples to try and you followed up with that. Maybe they've actually been a hostess. We have videos that prospects can watch regarding how we make our money in Mary Kay. Have they done that? Have they given you referrals? Maybe they've attended a guest event with you. We call it the second date, which means maybe they came back after they had skincare, but then they came back and they had color with you. Have they been on any kind of Facebook Live party that you've had, or are they in your Facebook customer group? You can create a customer group in Facebook. I like to do it as a private customer group. You can also create a business page on Facebook. Two different things, and kind of the page is probably going to help you get people maybe that are not already your customers. The private group are for those people that are your customers, what we call Pearl Girl, and that's when they have the little like three-way call with me and you and them talking about the opportunity, because you can personally earn pearls. We have pearl earrings, pearl necklaces, and pearl bracelets that you as the consultant to earn depending on how many people that you do these little practice chats with. Maybe we do bingo nights every so often on Zoom. Have they attended a bingo night? Because there's a lot of product knowledge in that. Have they just sat down with you and me for coffee? And then have you just given them a bold ask that just said, is this something you would be interested in doing? Why couldn't we get you started now? So these are all the different ways to layer someone. generally it's like 5 to 7 layers of this. Then if they have any inkling or thought that they might want to have a side business, then sometimes they're interested because they've just been saturated enough with enough information and enough products. And if they love the products already, the other thing you can do that's not on here is actually have them try our Skin Analyzer app. We kind of talked about that in our first training. That Skin Analyzer app is so great in teaching them, that shows them exactly where their issues are on their skin, and then it tells them exactly which Mary Kay products they need. And so that's a valuable thing for every customer to do at least once. So this is truly the layering sheet. We're going to talk about this again in a little bit when we're talking about booking. And then I just wanted to share this with you. When we talk a little bit about working full circle, and I say, it's not a requirement to recruit. It isn't. You don't have to. You can just sell the product if you want. However, this little thing came out, I don't know, many years ago. And it is true that you never know what someone needs. I'm not going to just read it to you, but you can kind of read it on the screen. But basically what it's saying is that sometimes people need something like this. Maybe they need extra money. Maybe they just need personal growth. Maybe they need the girlfriend time. Maybe they just need to learn better money management skills. I mean, there's so much you can learn in being in a Mary Kay business. Or maybe they just need to be able to get all their products at half off because they love the products. And so when we say that we are not going to recruit, sometimes we're limiting someone else's ability or things that they might need. Excuse me. So when I first started, I said, I'm not going to recruit because I didn't want to be pushy or I didn't want to bother people. But the thing is, there could be people that really want to do this or need to do this. And so it's good in your training and in part of your full circle process just to layer people anyway, see who might be interested. We're not pushing anyone into selling if they don't want to, but there's no reason not to share this opportunity in case it is something that they truly need in their life and you don't want to hinder that. And in the long run, it could help you if you decide you want to move forward and move up the company ladder or something like that. But I think it's a tendency when we have fear over recruiting, we're really just thinking more about ourselves than thinking about them. And so that's why we always want to throw that out there, even if you're like, I don't think I want to be a team leader or a star team builder, which we'll talk a little bit about what those levels are, or I don't even want to be a director. And that's okay, you don't have to be, but there's nothing wrong with recruiting people. And sometimes it's really fun right at the beginning for you to get somebody going along with you, and then you can kind of have a running buddy, and then you kind of run together, and so it's lots of fun. So let's talk a little bit about booking. So booking is really the lifeline of our business. You can sell in your private Facebook group, and you can sell doing stuff on Facebook in terms of just giving people in social media ideas of what you sell and what you have. But I guarantee you're never going to sell as much doing that as you are sitting down with people one-on-one and letting them try the product. That is just, to me, the best way to build this business for the long haul and to get the most people on the skincare so that you can get reorders. Facebook and social media and Instagram and TikTok, all of that's just helpful, but not the only way to do your business. Now, there are a few people out there in the United States, Mary Kay directors and consultants, that do most of their work virtually, which means they do a lot of stuff on Facebook and they do a lot of stuff on Zoom. And that's fine if you can find a niche in that and that works for you. But my personal experience has been that you're going to do better when you can meet people one-on-one, face to face. So when you're first starting, it's like, where do I start? Like, where do I come up with the people? There's a couple of things. This is a lead generation sheet, and this gives you ideas of ways to get names. But I also believe that, let me see. Let me stop sharing this. I can pull that down. Maybe. Let me go back here. There's another sheet I want to share with you. Here it is. Okay. So we talk about this when you first start. It's called the Franks sheet. And so it stands for friends, relatives, acquaintances, neighbors, kids contacts, this is where you write down all the people that you know. And I always say start with this. And I mentioned before about doing like a business launch for you. Um, our plan would be to try to do one business launch, but also probably to try, I can also help you do like your first two parties. And then I would love for you to book three people, whether they invite friends or not, totally on your own, so that then you can practice. But we start with the people that fall within this category. It's sort of like making a pretend wedding list. Like, who are the women that you would invite to your wedding that you know? And you may have friends on Facebook that are kind of fall within this acquaintance area, but you literally write everybody down that you know. And this is where we start with your business launch, and also just your first people that you are going to facial. And you really start there and then you build. But this gives you some ideas of some ways that you can get some more names. And so this will be on our in the files on our Facebook page, because there's 100 ways on here. So don't get overwhelmed by that. I start with the list. I start with the list of people I know first, the Frank's list, all the people I know, and then I start moving into what are some other ways that I can get leads. For me personally, I get leads from referrals, which I'm going to teach you how to do that. And I also get leads from vendor shows. And so those are really mainly the two ways that I do it. But there's other ways that you can get leads. This gives you lots of ideas, and you don't want to get overwhelmed, but you could try 2 or 3 of these at a time. But I always start with the people I know, because if you start with the people you know and you book them and you get referrals from them, sometimes you can just keep going and going and going and going with that, and you don't have to do a ton of these, but you could. It just depends on what your personality is and what you like. It is important when you're first booking people that you remember what we talked about, I think, the first week. We talked about golden rule, service, and making sure that we do see if someone already has a Mary Kay consultant. If they are your family or a very close friend, they might prefer to purchase from you, and that's okay as long as they tell their consultant. But we are not really trying to get people that are already really happy with their Mary Kay consultant and are already using Mary Kay. We are looking for those people that don't have a Mary Kay consultant and need skincare and color cosmetics. And so just remember that as you qualify people for who you would facial. What I recommend to people, depending on, your time, which we talked about time management last time, and how much time you're going to spend working your business, you do need to plan an hour a week. And it can be 1 hour all at one time, or it can be in 15-minute increments 4 times a week, or you could have 2 half-hour sessions, but you do need to spend what we call a power hour. And at our weekly meetings, we always calculate how many power hours did you have, because I guarantee you that the amount of power hours you have is going to equate to how many bookings you have. And as I said, that's the lifeline of your business. So a power hour is taking time, it's time set aside that you are really initiating contact with people, either selling to them, following up with something they may have sold, that you've already sold to them, or trying to book them to come in front of you so that they can try the product. And if you spend an hour a week doing that, and you have we talked about our weekly plan sheet, and we have our month laid out on which days we're willing to work, because you get to choose that, then you just plug those people into those times. And the more power hours you have consistently, the more bookings you have on your books. And then that's how you really start building your business. So there's a couple of ways that you can even track your power hours. So one of the things I want to show you is this power booking plan. And this is really great for the types of people that you're going to book. So, I'm going to go down here. This is just a tracking sheet, like how you met them, what is their contact information. And you'll see here you have number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and it has day 1, day 4, day 7, day 11. So when you're first booking people, you're going to give them 4 chances. If they say no to me, then I don't text them again. If they're like, I'm not interested, then I leave them alone. We're not trying to pressure people, but sometimes people have to be contacted a few times before they respond. So in this power booking, sheet, it tells you exactly what your script could be. And this could be via text or it could be over the phone. But if you're a new consultant, it says this is what you could say. You know, if you're trying to book a friend, this is what you could say. If you're trying to book a referral from someone else that gave you their name, if you did a lead box, what a lead box is if you leave a box like in a business and people can put their information in there to get a free facial or something, this tells you how to do that. So when I do vendor shows, I kind of do it the same as I do a lead box because I just maybe just met them there. And so it tells you the script and what to say on which day. But this is something that you have to kind of organize. You have to have that organization on your calendar so you know what day 4 is, day 7 is. And then this gives you some potential scripts. So that's the power booking plan, but there are different ways to track it. So here is a 21-day tracking sheet. So I would take this sheet and the layering sheet that we talked about before, and I even put them like in a 3-ring binder so I don't lose them. And I keep everybody's name in there. So then that way, when I sit down to do my power booking or my power hour, I have a place to start because I know how many layers everybody's had. And I also know, okay, this is how I found this person. This is my first contact. And you just like color it in. And then my second contact, third contact on day 4, day 7, day 11. And then this tells me if they said no, if I need to call them back, if I booked them, whatever that is. So you can like fill it in and you can keep track of it that way. That is one way to do it. Another way to do it is what we call a bubble sheet, which just also has even some of its own scripts where you just put the person's name here. And then if you left a message, you put a splash in it. If you spoke to them, you put an X. If you actually booked them, then you circle it in. So this is just a visual for you to help you as you book. So you can see how many calls does it take for me to get the bookings that I need. This bubble sheet even also has some more scripts for you. You don't have to use these scripts exactly, but this is like helps you find like your own words. Like you can put it in your own words, but it gives you something to start with. The other thing, I used to like this because I'm kind of a list person. I would just I'm going to contact 10 people. When I do power booking, my plan is to contact 10 people at one time in that hour or however long I have, because I have found that if I only contact 2 and they both say no, then I feel discouraged. But if I contact 10, more than likely 1 or 2 out of those 10 is going to respond in a positive way. And then you feel like you've gotten somewhere. So that's just me in my head that works. But these are different sheets you can use. It doesn't matter which one you use. It's just helpful so that you can keep track of your booking. And so then when you go back to your 3-ring binder, when it's your power hour again, you already have it all down. Another feature that another thing you can use is you can use the Chat GPT app. It's called Chat GPT. And if you need help coming up with scripts, you just literally type in there, how do I invite someone to a Mary Kay skincare facial? And Chat GPT will give you an idea of a great script for that. So that's something that you can use too, if that's helpful to you. Once you've booked those people, then you want to pre-profile those people. And so let me just stop share for a minute here. What we call pre-profiling. So I was booking last night and I had some people say, yay, I'm excited. They were from a vendor show and I told them they were a winner and they got a free pampering session. And then I choose to give $25 free at their pampering session. At the beginning of your business, you don't have to give anything free if you don't want to. You could give them something that costs $5. I mean, you don't have to give a whole lot, but that's how I get the people to book when I don't know them or they're a referral to me. So once they said, yes, I want to do it, then I say, well, let me ask you a few questions so I can be most prepared for your appointment. And so this is what pre-profiling is. So I ask them what their skin type is. I ask them, and so I will give them choices. I'll say, is your skin dry, normal, combination, or oily? I will ask them if they've tried Mary Kay before. That kind of helps me see too, based on their answer, do they already have a consultant or have they tried Mary Kay before, but it's been a long time, or, what that kind of leads into that. And then I ask them if there's any skincare issues they want to address. That's really all I start with, but that helps me see. Because then, I had someone text me back last night and say, well, she said, I have this really weird skin issue where my skin peels on my fingers and on my face. And so I get kind of nervous about doing a facial. And so that helps me know that I want to make sure I try something on her that's really good for sensitive skin. If someone says I have acne issues, then I know that I want to address acne issues and have our acne products available. You can even, Mary Kay has a great 3-minute video. You can even send that in the pre-profile and say, I would love for you to watch this 3-minute video. And then when I meet you at your appointment, I'd love for you to tell me one thing you learned. And for that, I'll give you a free eyeshadow or a little free mini hand cream or something like that. But that's like a layer because that's giving them some information about the company. You can always do that in your pre-profiling as well. Then if I book them and I really want to have more than one person, at that time, once they say yes and they've answered all the questions, I will sometimes say to them, it's just as easy for me to do 2 faces as one or 3 faces as one, however you want to do that. And you're welcome to bring friends if you would like to, just let me know. And if they decide they want to, then I will give them something free for doing that. Now, I usually say they have to have at least 2 people there that don't currently have a Mary Kay consultant to get something free for me. But that's how you meet new people, is they bring their friends with them. But I usually wait and get them booked first and make sure they say they are a yes. Because sometimes if you ask people, will you have a party or they're like, no, I don't want to have a party. I don't want to clean my house. I don't want to have snacks. And so what I do is mostly do them at my house, and then I will get that person booked, and then I'll say, you can invite a friend or 2. So if they do invite at least 2 friends that don't currently have a Mary Kay consultant, there's different hostess plans because you're an independent contractor, so you can choose what you want to give for free. My suggestion to you when you're first starting out, because you may not have a full inventory of product and you don't want to lose money, is I would give the hostess 50% off of whatever she wants if she has at least 2 people there. And I don't even put a stipulation on it that they have to purchase, because most of the time, and they don't always, but most of the time they do, because once they try the product, they like it. But I'm not losing money on the hostess. I'm just breaking even on her. So, because my cost is 50% off. So that way you're not out money. So that's a really good hostess plan that's super simple and easy to use when you first start, because then you at least you can get that product for her and cover the cost of it. You're just not making money off of her, but she's bringing you 2 new people. So now you have 3 customers instead of just 1. So that's kind of the plan with that. There's a lot of different hostess plans you can use, or you can make up your own. But my suggestion at the beginning is you want to make money. So you don't want to give away too much. So let's just kind of recap over what we talked about. Working full circle involves, using the product, learning how to get your list together of all the people you're going to start with, and then using the layering sheet and whatever sheet you want to use for booking, and planning every week to have a power hour so that you have time to reach out. Because part of what you're going to do, when I talked about the full circle, is even when they do purchase from you, you're going to put on your calendar that you're going to contact them back in 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months. So part of your power hour time can be when you're following up with customers that have already purchased from you and you're wanting to make sure that they're doing good. Because that's how you're going to build customers for life, is doing what you say you're going to do. So deliver the product when you say you're going to deliver it. And you can choose how often in a week you deliver. You don't have to deliver every day, but just do what you say. So like if you say I deliver on Thursdays only, then deliver on Thursdays. They could have the option of coming to pick it up, or you can mail it, or whatever it is you plan to do. Just make sure that you do what you say you're going to do, and then follow up with them with great customer service to make sure they're happy with all their products. And make sure you honor the 100% guarantee if you need to. And then when you do all those things, then you build customers who will also give you referrals. And that's how you build relationships with these people that will be lasting. And so that's how you continue to, keep those customers. And then you definitely want to put them on your preferred customer program, which I think we talked about that generally the first week, but that's where the catalogs get mailed out from the company 4 times a year. There is a deadline for when you have to get those names and addresses in Mary Kay in Touch. And then once those are in there, then you go to Business Tools and Preferred Customer Program. And I always let you know when the deadline is. So literally you can just go in there and click their names and say, these are who I want you to mail the catalogs to. It costs you 90 cents per book, but it'll include a sample, and the company will mail them out for you. And then it looks like it's coming from you, because on the back of the lookbook, there'll be like a little verbiage, and it'll have your name, your website, your phone number, so that they can call you. And so I think that's a really important step in the customer service process as well. So as soon as you have facialed that person or gotten their information, then I always try to enter it into Mary Kay in Touch so that you are able to do the preferred customer program. Okay, so that is really all we're going to cover this evening. So we did do that in 30 minutes. And then next time we're going to do a little bit more about the actual appointment and also some money management skills and things that you need to keep track of as you're running your business, so that you'll be able to do your taxes properly, and also so you know whether you're making money or not. So, okay, I'm going to make sure that all the things that I shared tonight are on our files on our Facebook page. And then if you are watching this and there's any sheet that I showed you that you can't find there, or you need especially any of the power booking and booking sheets, let me know and I'm happy to send them to you. Okay, I will talk to you soon.